Hey everyone, it's July 1st, and that means that if today's your birthday, you share it with German serial killer Elisabeth Wiese, known as the Angel Maker of St. Pauli, who killed at least 5 infants in the early 1900s, though likely many more. And that is her right up there. Born in 1853, Wiese worked as a midwife as a young woman, offering her services largely to poor women who couldn't afford a doctor. Some of them were desperate and needed an abortion, which was illegal in Germany in the 1870s, so Wiese performed the procedures herself. When authorities began to crack down on the practice, she was arrested multiple times, almost as if she lived in St. Paul, Texas, instead of St. Pauli, Germany. With multiple convictions for performing medical procedures, she was prevented from working as a midwife, and money grew scarce. Married with an adult daughter, her relationship with her husband fizzled, and she tried to murder him on several occasions, poisoning his food and attempting to slit his throat while he slept. She failed and was sent to prison for her efforts while the man divorced her. When released in 1902, Wiese needed money and began pimping out her own daughter through advertisements in the newspaper. Men of means would pay 30 marks for an evening with the young woman, who eventually fled home for a new life in London. Wiese then offered her services as a baby broker to women who had given birth out of wedlock, arranging for the children to be adopted by families that were unable to have their own. She would accept a fee to be paid to the new parents to help defray the costs of raising a child, but kept the money instead of passing it on. When some of the poorer parents returned the children to her, she poisoned the babies with morphine and burned their bodies in her stove or threw them in the river, while telling the biological mothers that they had been adopted by wealthy families in other countries. Her downstairs neighbor didn't like living on the ground floor and convinced Wiese to swap apartments, but found the stove to be unusable, likely because it contained the ashes of multiple babies by that point. Meanwhile, her daughter had become pregnant while in London and returned home, giving birth in the basement, upon which Wiese immediately drowned the newborn and burned the body. One mother came into a fortune and wanted to get her baby back, but it wasn't Chili's, so Wiese sent her away with a bunch of excuses as to why she couldn't see her child. This aroused suspicions, and the police began to investigate the missing child, finding a stash of morphine and other poisons in her bedroom, and arrested her for murder. They soon realized there were multiple victims, and at trial, Wiese's ex-husband and daughter testified against her, which caused a sensation in Hamburg. She was convicted of fraud, living off immoral earnings, and 5 murders in 1904, though she likely killed far more and was executed by guillotine in February of 1905. And the lesson is, if you ever need a babysitter, don't call the ghost of Elisabeth Wiese. If this is your birthday, I hope you have a great day. Leave me a comment so I can wish you a happy birthday. If you know someone whose birthday it is today, send them this video so they can find out all about their birthday twin. And to Elisabeth Wiese, I say, happy birthday, you bastard.